So what can transform divorce? It's mediation. Mediation is a voluntary process that can help two sides to reach an acceptable solution to their differences. A mediator can help the parties to examine their ideas and options in a neutral, safe environment where they are both free to express their opinions. When two people want things to go their way, it can be difficult to come to an agreement. Mediation is a gentle process to assist diffuse anger, facilitate communication, and help parties reach a solution to their problem with the aim to provide a win-win situation for both parties. The mediator will facilitate communication, promote understanding, focuses the parties on their interest, and seeks creative problem solving to enable the parties to reach their own agreement. Okay, here you've got a slide that shows very nicely and clearly the difference between mediation and litigation. You have clearly in litigation parties 1 with lawyer 1 and parties 2 with lawyer 2. And the communication really happens only between the lawyers. There's no communication at all with the partners. Mediation, on the other hand, invites communication throughout with all the parties concerned. I think I skipped one. No, okay. So divorce mediation allows both parties, not a court or lawyer, to make a decision about their children and their financial affairs, giving them the chance to work towards a mutually agreeable and workable outcome. Mediation is solution-focused and works towards a mutually agreeable solution to move towards the changes necessary for the family to heal and move forward. Mediation aims to be children and family-centered. Through effective communication, addressing both parties' needs, wants, and fears, divorcing parents can limit the negative effect their conflict would otherwise have on the children. Short and long-term solutions can be negotiated that take everyone in the family into consideration. This enhances cooperation and ongoing co-parenting, and thus is more effective and recommended for divorces at large, and especially those that involve children. So why is conflict hard? Think of a recent conflict that you may have been involved in with someone close or even a stranger in the street or in the parking lot. As you relay the experience of that conflict, can you remember how you were feeling at the time, what you were thinking, how you were reacting? Now, think about the other person you had the conflict with. How were they behaving? How were they talking? What do you think they were thinking? We all experience conflict in much the same way. It's a universal experience that makes us all feel weak, frustrated, confused, angry, suspicious, defensive, and or emotional. That's a quote by Bush and Folger. In conflict, our ability to think clearly and make good decisions is diminished and causes us to view others in a negative way, and we will most likely not value the other person's point of view. Understand that when in conflict, you are feeling bad, you're hurt, you're angry, you're powerless, and thinking the other person is a jerk. The probabilities are that the other person is feeling the same about you. No persons are more frequently wrong than those who will not admit that they are wrong. Conflicts happen. It is inevitable and is going to happen whenever you find people with different expectations. Most of the time, when people find themselves in conflict, they are focused on things going their way, leaving no room for negotiations. However, conflicts can be avoided if steps are taken early in a discussion to diffuse anger and facilitate communication. Unfortunately, people often seek mediation out of recommendation when they have been in a growing conflict which has them already involved in full-blown litigation. Most of these litigations could have been avoided and resolved if both parties had entered into mediation sooner. A divorce is a decision with emotional consequences that is at its best a difficult undertaking. Clients go to attorneys with a variety of needs, only some of which are legal in nature. Many times, divorcing clients feel stuck and unable to make critical decisions about their life, leaving the legal process unable to move forward. Mediation is different from going to an attorney in that it will support the clients in the divorce process by guiding them to make decisions themselves. It will not tell them how to handle their legal, financial, and personal affairs, but it will guide both parties through the process, if not more amicably, more efficiently. Mediation looks at the bigger picture, is non-judgmental, and acts only to support the clients emotionally and get the best out of their legal assistance. So here's a bit of a comparison between litigation and mediation and how it really does differ a lot. In terms of time, litigation can go on for years, whereas mediation, it's much shorter. Cost, same thing, litigation, that can really become very expensive. Mediation is much cheaper. The emotional cost, that is, litigation is, its very nature creates conflict and prevents cooperation between parties, whereas in mediation it sets the stage for cooperation and preserves relationships. Privacy and control, litigation, your dirty laundry is aired in public. Mediation is private and confidential. For parents, parenting in litigation, often the court system controls the care and control of children, increasing parental discord. Whereas in mediation, we encourage cooperative co-parenting, where both parents have active roles in their children's lives. The children themselves, parental struggle dominates the proceedings in litigation, and what is best for the children may not be adequately addressed. But in mediation, we promote the children's healthy adjustment to challenging changes of separation. The outcome of litigation is often the court decides what is best for the family and for the children, whereas in mediation, a unique win-win settlement is to suit your specific circumstances. At SATSA, we'd say that it's short for South African Divorce Support Association. We say that it is not a breakup point in your life, but a change of direction. A divorce does not need to be the end of a family. It needs to be embraced as a changing family. But when going through a divorce, the two words divorce and agreement seldom go together. The journey to signing the divorce agreement is fraught with stress and emotional uncertainty, and inevitably leaves one feeling like they have lost all control over their life. Mediation is considerably quicker and a cheaper way to divorce, as well as to resolve other family disputes such as parenting plans and maintenance payments. Children work within the legal framework of the mediation work within the legal framework of the Divorce Act, the Maintenance Act, and the Children's Act. So the mediation process is a voluntary process, so the parties have to agree to mediate. And it is optional for both parties. The mediation session is completely confidential and encourages open communication. The mediator will then gather points of view. It is important to gather both parties' point of view in an unbiased and non-judgmental way. The focus is on interests. So when in conflict, people have a tendency to see things their way only. When focusing on interests, it helps the parties focus their energy on the process, and it becomes easier to find satisfactory means to reach an agreement. It creates win-win options. So people often resolve conflicts. One person ends up a winner and one loses out. This may solve the problem momentarily, but resentment and bad feelings can cause more problems later. A win-win solution benefits both sides, and conflicts are turned into opportunities. Then the mediator evaluates options. Parties are empowered with choices as opposed to being given conditions. And it ends up with drawing the agreement, which reflects the joint effort of all parties and conclude the mediation. Mediation is becoming more popular in South Africa, with the family court starting a countrywide rollout of court-annexed mediations. The idea behind court-annexed mediation is to encourage early settlement of any dispute between the parties, either before or after litigation proceedings have commenced. The positive outcome of mediation in terms of long-term mental health on all family members involved in divorce have been well documented in the UK, Australia, and New Zealand. Whether the conflicted parties seek private mediation or choose the court-annexed mediation process, the benefits of mediating as opposed to litigating cannot be overstated. All mental health professionals should be aware of the advantages of mediation for clients going through a divorce. Divorce is one of the most stressful life events, and there is empirical evidence illustrating that mediation has a less negative effect on the children of divorce than litigation does. At SATSA, we are a counseling, coaching, support and family mediation practice for people contemplating undergoing or having gone through a separation or a divorce. We're passionate about eliminating as far as possible the ongoing conflict during a divorce, which in turn eliminates the negative effect on the children. SATSA collaborates with like-minded professionals in the field of counseling, family and divorce mediation, and the law, who are all driven by a child-centered and solution-focused approach. We say that the law doesn't raise children, parents do. So thank you. This is for Transforming Divorce. Nina, my colleague, is at the back of the room, and we'll both be happy to answer your questions during the break. Thank you.